Good morning, comrades. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Nürburgring. Today is Tuesday, the 11th of January. Yeah, a bit of way back in time. On that day, I was actually, or I am right now, drifting with Franz, Sophia, David, and all the other guys. And I quickly stopped by at Apex because something has arrived here that you already know by now. Because yesterday we made an announcement video of our new taxi. So let's have a look and maybe have some bananas for scale. That's a bit random in the winter. What's happening?
How you doing? We're doing tire sizes.
Nice.
We're calculating them.
Does it make you tired?
Very.
Okay.
Almost as tiring as your jokes.
Yes. Should we look at the car?
Yeah, let's go check it out. Yeah, so what we're doing is trying to find out what wheel sizes we want to go with, what tire sizes we want to go with, just to make sure the balance of the car feels right, but also that the the wheels and tires look good and everything functions. So
yeah,
it's a lot of different calculations and seeing what's out there. The car's a little salty right now.
Just a bit, yeah. But yeah. So yeah, as I could have seen a couple of weeks ago, I went to ProTrack to pick up secret wheels for a secret car. In this case, it's the taxi, the G80, not 82, yeah, M3 taxi. So we picked up a set of ProTracks that we will be test fitting on.
And we've repurposed the license plate.
Oh yes, that's also very...
It's weird to see a 380 license plate that's white and not brown.
I think we're going to change that as well. It's going to be one of the future mods, ongoing mods.
What's that?
To darken the license plate.
Oh, darken the license plate, yeah. That's part of the plans is to make the license plate look like shit.
Yeah, so the car will be getting the new wheels test fitted. What's the size are we going for or trying to?
We've got, for the wet, we've got a 9.5J, 19 square. And for the dry, we've got a 10J and an 11J. So that'll either be a 10J square or a 10 and a 11.
Okay.
Obviously 11 for the back, but we don't know about the offsets and if there's much needed for the back to run an 11J.
So it will be a square setup instead of the stock.
It'll be
potentially
be square, but then it'll be square in terms of circumference.
It won't have the 1920 combo like the car comes with, but that's obviously, we don't want to have a 1920 combo for the track use and everything like that. So we're going to go to 19s, but as George said, 10 front, maybe 11 rear. But that's what we were calculating when you came in, is the differential between the front and the rear for the the circumference.
Because as it stands, obviously for the dry, I mean a 305 on this car would maybe work. We don't know yet. We have to test it. But first we need to see if the wheels fit. Yeah. Because if the wheels don't fit, then it's back to the drawing board.
We also want to have the proper wheels selected and on the car for when it goes for all of its suspension measurements, so that it's ready, and actually can see, okay, what clearances do we have and what needs to be done.
Yeah, so after that, the car will go to Unicat wraps for the PPF protection.
It'll actually go there in about an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, so that should be done. And
car's been here for 10 minutes. It's on the lift with stuff off of it already.
Yeah.
If I had it my way, the suspension would be up already.
Yeah, and after that, I guess, in a couple of, after the PPF, it will go to KW.
Yeah, it goes to KW. They're going to have it for probably, I would say 4 weeks, it sounds like. So it'll be there for a while. And that's why it's important that we have the wheels selected so that they know, what are our offsets, how much clearance do we have and what needs to be done. We don't want to get a car back and be like, oh crap, our wheels don't fit.
Yeah.
That would be a pretty bad scenario, right?
Yeah. I've not seen the stock braking system.
It's actually a very large caliper, but look at how much pad is on there. It's a decent amount of material on there, so that's kind of interesting. George and I were talking, we've got AP brakes here already. We've been talking about if we're going to put them on. There's been stories that these aren't the best caliper, but we need to test that ourselves. Yeah. You hear all kinds of rumors about what works and doesn't work, and what's great, what isn't great, what wheel breaks, what wheel doesn't break, and you don't know if it's BS or if it's accurate until you actually go out and test it. One of the things that we found, like on the M4 rental car here, you can walk around and show this. This car is on stock brakes. Okay, stock brake calipers, obviously the pads, the lines, the discs, those have all been changed. But this car, if you want to talk about performance, since we don't talk lap times, but we do, this car with Tim driving it, of course, on a track day has been, I think it was 711 BTG? 710 BTG. Sorry for taking that second from you. Stock power, 75,000 kilometers on it.
Yeah.
81.
Oh, 81. Okay, sorry, 81,000. I was pre-season, early season numbers. And it's stock power, so it's the stock 430 horsepower, no engine modifications at all, no transmission mapping, no nothing. And this is one of the fastest BTG cars out there, and it's sitting on stock brakes.
Like, especially with this spec as well.
Exactly, and it's not. There's basically we've done the light kinematic kit, so it doesn't even have full kinematics like what the E92 has or what the F80 has.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any of that. It's a very attainable, what we would consider a base build, of something that we've put a lot of time and reiterations, which you guys have watched Misha's channel. We're always changing and reworking, and it's with this arrow on it. It doesn't have the big, huge front splitter on it. It's got a minimal splitter, a reasonable sized wing. It doesn't have side skirts. It doesn't have GT4 parts. But what it is, it's a very balanced car and a very well-built car, and that's what we want to do with this one. We want to build a car that works really well and showcases how you can build the car, and that's why we want to test the stock brakes first, because I have a feeling that we might be surprised.
I'd quite like to test the stock discs, stock pads, for a few laps to see how the pads feel, like, so you can get a feeling for the brakes. I'm sure Tim will agree. And then I want to try obviously an aftermarket pad. So obviously Endless will probably be the first option. I have already spoken to the guys. I think they're going to send us out a couple of compounds, just so we can see how that caliper like maintains its. This caliper's great.
Yeah.
We have like stock of this caliper just in case, and 1 season, 2 seasons, no problem. Like you'll burn the dust seals and that's it.
Something
you carry on going.
We started talking about a G80 and going to a tech talk about all these different things, but something interesting. We have replaced all of the calipers on the F80 M3, and those were all AP calipers, and we've replaced the calipers on this as well, and they both lasted about the same amount of time. The caliper here, you started hearing it. You heard it squeak. It was almost like the metal was stretching, when you would press the pedal, and that's how obviously we know, crap, we got to change these out. But again, lifetime was actually no better with the AP than the stock calipers were. So that's why we're going to do a lot of testing with this and see exactly what we need.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will appreciate who are considering buying a G platform to see if you actually need to have a rod bearing kit and a lighter crank pulley and look who's there, random. Hi.
Hi guys.
How are you?
How you like our new taxi?
Huh?
How you like our new taxi?
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, it's nice.
Kind of cool, huh? Good to see you.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year. Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go and start out testing with the stock brakes, knowing that we have, I should say the stock caliper.
Yeah.
Knowing that we have the aftermarket parts ready to go. But I'm so happy with how it's performed here that I would love to see it work here and to be able to benchmark what's possible.
Definitely. Now on top, I think you're going to do some measurements on the diff, or what? What was the plan?
Yeah, we're going to do some measurements on suspension parts and diff and stuff, and just see what options we have for solid diff mounts, what options we can get for toe correction and roll center correction. But we'll cross that bridge in the next week or so when we're car's wrapped and I've got it for a little bit longer time. So an hour's not long enough to strip the suspension out.
Sure.
I mean, the rear subframe looks a lot like F80, so I have a feeling we could have very similar measurements to F80, but I don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll see. And probably different exhaust as well.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be for, the exhaust is something we'll worry about, I guess, the end of February.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what we're going to do there. I drove it, the car only has now maybe 170 kilometers on it. And I drove it up from my house today. It's been there for a month sitting in the garage. And I drove it up today, and, there's no emotion from the exhaust.
Yeah.
It's pretty bland. The couple times you roll into it, you do hear it, but
EU spec.
we want it to be a lot more aggressive.
Yeah.
And then I've heard a couple cars with the aftermarket exhaust, and they do sound amazing. Yeah.
This is a nice sounding engine. It reminds me a lot of like a 2J.
It's similar, straight six,
Well,
turbocharged.
Basically the same thing.
exactly the same.
BMW makes Toyotas nowadays, so
it's basically a 2J.
super,
It's fine. It's a 3J.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's pretty much all we have to say for now.
Yeah, so now it goes to PPF because as we're moving it around, with this matte paint and everything, the last thing we want is for it to get a chip or to get damaged.
Yeah.
As we're going from here to KW, looking at suspension, even just taking the wheels on and off and working around it. If we scratch this paint, it could be kind of a nightmare to fix. So
Yeah.
we want to get that protected as soon as we can. And actually, I want to get the taxi stickers on it as well, just so that people start getting used to the fact that, you know, this thing is actually a taxi.
It's a replacement.
You know, that's why I was thinking of the license plates. I said, well, it's still an M3, it's still an 80 series, so we might as well just keep that, you know,
Yeah.
keep that plate. So if anyone sees this that doesn't know it's a taxi, they're going to know real quick.
Yeah.
I love this car. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if,
Yeah, from this angle, it's hot.
yeah, exactly.
We haven't even looked at the front.
We're not
We're not going to.
We
No.
should actually make it a goal
Yeah.
through all the marketing and all the videos to never show the front of it.
Fully down for that.
That would actually be really
At
funny.
the back, you're like, this is really good. You get to the front, it's like,
Tom, any picture you take, just blur out the front, okay?
yeah, no problem.
Cool. Well, I guess that's pretty much when it comes to the first look. As mentioned, the car goes to PPF now, later on to KW. In between, we will do lots of more stuff to it in-house ourselves. And yeah. Thank you for warning me. Have to get used to it.
Step one.
No,
Yeah.
he's gonna put a wheel on so you can see it real quick.
Yeah, but there's going to be. Oh yeah, I did. There's going to be a lot. Ooh, fancy.
So I
Tom, can you pass me the gun?
really enjoyed this wheel when it was on the M2
Yeah.
at the Essen Motor Show.
Yeah.
When I actually obviously first saw it here, and I looked at it, I was like, man, that's a damn good looking wheel on that car. So that's what we're gonna go with on this. Yeah.
I think it would look good on this.
Nice.
And
And,
then-
a lot more.
Yeah, and the stickers will go to match as well.
The wheel. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. And who knows, maybe some couple of aero mods here and there.
We
and this and that.
definitely think about a couple aero mods. I think, you know, a little bit of
Anything to
front
make the
splitter.
front look better.
Yeah, a little bit of front splitter, and then
Yeah.
the rear wing, obviously.
Yeah. And the interior will remain stock.
For now,
for
yeah. For now, we want to keep the interior stock. It's really funny because the F80 brings like this. You know, obviously, I'm in a race car. I'm in a fully caged car, and it's insane. And then I had some people say, you know, I'm not going to complain. The F80 was crazy like it is, but
Yeah.
when it was built and on the stock seats and stuff, I was like sliding around, and it was, you know, kind of made a wild ride too.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of people that rode in the F80 both ways and
Yeah.
said, I actually appreciated both of
Yeah.
them. So now we get to start with this one like this and
Yeah.
see, do we then modify it with the cage and everything for next year, or do we look at something else?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Well, and for that, stay tuned, subscribe, like, share, and maybe Robert will post a video on his channel too.